Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another Sacred Union energy update. The energy today, holy cow, the energy from just the past week, it has really shifted. In the month of April, we might have been experiencing a little bit of a tumultuous energy. Things were really leveling out, things were coming into balance with this Aries energy, which was just go, action. Forward momentum. But as a result of that, emotions might have been I'm hearing the word hot-headed. So we might have experienced some of that. We've entered Taurus season. We can really feel the grounded energy of that. Taurus is earth energy, and it just feels like there is this sigh of relief. I do encourage you guys, if you missed it, to check out the sacred channeling over on Susan Dawn Ascension Connections, The Cosmic Kiss. It was the Patreon live stream replay, and it really does explain a lot of what this energy has been, including the shift that we've been experiencing with the Divine Masculine and the Divine Feminine. It has been, gosh, I don't even know how to explain it. I'm not going to recap it here. I will put the link in the description box, but I really encourage you guys to check out that reading. I also did post a little clip of that here on this main YouTube channel as well. I did call it a twin flame channeling. If you don't resonate with that, just take it for your own inner union. Take it for your own sacred partnership with a high-level soulmate, for a twin flame, whatever it is that you want to call it. The labels don't matter. I go into that a little bit in the reading as well. But this is union energy, you guys. And my ego doesn't want to believe it. And I think that's what the Divine Feminine has been experiencing. I just posted a reel, and I posted it as a weekend update here on the community tab as well, where the Divine Feminine, she's feeling all the feels, and it's feeling a little bit uncomfortable for her because she's been in such a place of disconnect, detachment, and even disbelief because of the pain that she's experienced and the disappointment that she's experienced on this journey. So because she has experienced so much of that heartbreak and that disappointment stemming from her physical 3D experience, especially when it comes to the relationship or the partnership with her counterpart, she's having a little bit of a hard time believing these energies that are coming in. But that is just her ego mind that is completing an old cycle from an old version of herself. And they want me to explain that a little bit more. So throughout this journey, we have been learning to surrender both the Divine Masculine and the Divine Feminines in very different ways. But it's all about surrendering the ego to listen to the soul, to trust in the soul self, to embody the sacred soul self. And when you're embodying the sacred soul self, you're connecting directly to source energy, because source energy is within you. You are made up of source energy. You are an aspect of source energy. And so when you are connecting to that energy, that is all about love. That is all about faith. That is all about inner wisdom and inner knowing. So you're surrendering. You're surrendering your ego. You're surrendering, and ego is just patterns. Ego is programming. It's the thought patterns. It's the pain patterns. It's the conditioning. It's the programming that you experience. It's the false beliefs. And when you surrender all of that energy, what you're doing is you are remembering that soul is everything. You are remembering the wisdom of yourself. And so it's been difficult because you are surrendering that ego and all that pain, but what you're doing is you're actually completing a cycle of yourself. The cycle wherein you were in that false programming. You were living in repeated pain patterns. You were living in the programming. And so that's the cycle that you're completing. You're completing that old version of yourself, moving into the higher heart ascension. That's what this journey has all been about. It's been not just about healing, but when you're healing, you're remembering who you truly are. And you are the sacred soul. And so now we're at the level of embodiment. We're at the level of higher heart ascension, which means higher levels of surrender. And so especially for the Divine Feminines, you are just going through a breakthrough where you are just fully surrendered and fully embodied. And you might have been feeling that over that process, that integration over the last several months. even the past year, this past journey in many ways, but especially over the past several months, this is what it's brought you to. And so you might be feeling some residual energy of, this does not feel good. I don't like being in my emotions. I don't like feeling all this love for my counterpart, especially after I've been felt so mistreated, or I felt so disrespected, or I have felt like this journey just wasn't going anywhere. This journey has felt stagnant. There's been such separation. But you've just broken through the illusion of separation. And you've realized that you've always been in union, which is a message that we channeled well over a year ago. You've always been in union because you've always been in union with yourself. And who is your counterpart but the other aspect of yourself? So the more that I should say, the less that you have focused on your counterpart, and the more that you have embodied yourself, which is where you're honoring yourself and saying, I'm not abandoning myself, I'm not betraying myself, I'm not neglecting myself. The more you are embodying that energy, the more you are coming home to yourself, and even coming home to and in union with your counterpart. Even now, my own ego wants to say, maybe my person isn't my person, the person that I've always thought it was. But in my heart of hearts, in my heart, there is just this knowing. There's just this knowing that my divine masculine has always been my person. Now, I don't know how that looks like in the 3D life experience. I don't know if that means life partnership. But I do know that my heart has been opened to the love that we share. Does that mean just friendship? Does that mean just knowing that we love each other and we go about our individual lives, just recognizing how beautiful it is that we share this world together, this lifetime, this moment? Does that mean that we'll have partnership and relationship? That I don't know. And I wish I had answers for you guys, because I know that you guys look for them. I've looked for them too. But I've surrendered that. I've surrendered even that. And when I say I don't know, that is me humbling myself and saying, I cannot see beyond anything right now. I can't see how it unfolds. I can't see what this means for the divine masculine and the divine feminine in the future. I can't see it. I am being asked to just fully surrender and allow myself to love and just be love and embody love in every moment. And what that has actually opened up to is a lot more playful interactions with my divine counterpart. There is more peace. There is more harmony. There is more fun. And there is more love between us. After a brief period of separation, non-communication, complete non-communication, which hadn't happened in a very long time. As you guys know, my situation is a little bit different from many of yours. I should say some of yours, in which I've been with my divine counterpart for our entire ascension activation. And except for, a few weeks or a few months here and there where we didn't see each other or we didn't talk, we have basically been on this journey in physical proximity with each other, which comes with its own challenges. I know that probably seems, wonderful to many of you who have not seen your partner or been in communication, but it has come with its own triggers and challenges. And for me, it feels like it was the harder path, because I feel like it would be a lot easier to surrender and, walk away if I was in non-communication. I know that's not the case. I am with many of you guys who have been in separation or so-called separation or non-communication, and you feel their energy all the time. And I get it. So when I say that we went through a little period, just a couple of weeks of non-communication, but that really provided a lot of clarity for myself. It provided even more expansion, even more surrender. And when we came into meeting up again and into communication again, there was more anchored energy of my higher embodied self. And that was reflected back to me because I could see the shift in him as well. I could feel the difference in the energy. And I also realized that I'm not tolerating any of that old energy anymore. I will not accept it. I will not tolerate it because I'm in a different energy, and this different energy, this higher energy for myself, demands to be met in a higher energy, in a higher frequency as well. And so it requires the masculine to step up. It requires the masculine to show up. And if they don't, then that's where, I remove myself. And that had been, a process, I want to say of the whole journey, but that has been a process of especially the last several months, especially the last several weeks. So now we're in an energy, especially these divine feminines who are feeling this as well. If you're resonating with my own personal experience through which I channel, through which I share my own experience because I'm part of this collective as well. I'm part of this journey as well. I'm experiencing this right along with you. And if you're sharing this experience too, you're feeling a lot of emotion. But it's not an emotional purge. This is a heart expansion where you are just opening up to levels and levels and levels of deeper and deeper and deeper love for your counterpart. I'm also hearing for existence. Just for existence, for the world, for yourself, for God's source. And you are really just stepping into this new energy, this new earth energy, this new Lemuria energy, this 5D energy of higher heart everything, higher heart being, higher heart living, higher heart love, higher heart relationship, connection, everything. And so you're feeling a little bit uncomfortable because you have for so long in this journey been taught to detach, or been learning how to detach and disconnect, and part of you have been in a state of disbelief. Is this possible? It's not a question of, am I worthy anymore? Am I deserving of this love? Am I deserving of this journey? No. This is more a question of, is this real? And not in the way of, am I delusional? No, we've all been there. We've all been there, and we recognize that. It's a crazy, wild ride, but it is very, very real now. No, this is it really happening? Because I feel it with every single cell in my being, and I don't want to believe it because I'm scared. I don't want to believe it because that means that I have to open up my heart again. I don't want to believe it because that means I have to be vulnerable and I have to allow myself to trust. And I have to allow myself to risk. But it's not a risk, and it's not even a leap of faith. It is just following your heart and what your soul has always been telling you, where it has always been leading you. And so it's a little bit uncomfortable, divine feminines, to want to believe again, to even want to believe in your divine masculine again. And so I say this to you, coming from spirit, allow yourself to believe in yourself. If you're having a difficult time trusting in your masculine, even as you're seeing beautiful shifts and changes, believe in yourself, because that is where it comes from. They have their own work to do. That's on them. That's their responsibility. That is not yours. That is their responsibility to step up and show up. But you can't control it. You can't force it. That's your surrender. That's where you trust yourself. And that's where you allow yourself to be open to whatever conscious presence and connection wants to come in that will match you. Because that's what's coming in. Whether it is that divine masculine that you thought it was, or whether it is a different conscious masculine who has done the work and who is willing to step up and be present and match you in the love that you feel. Trust in yourself. Affirm, I will never abandon myself. I will never dishonor myself. I will never betray myself and my values and my heart. I will always respect myself. I will always love myself. I will always honor who I have become. From that energy, everything changes, everything opens up. And that divine masculine presence, that energy, is coming in to meet you. There's so many times on this journey that I myself have questioned. But as a messenger, as a channeler who has received messages that I've never heard anywhere else, that I've never read anywhere else, that I've never understood from anywhere else, I've had to trust what I'm receiving. Even if it didn't make sense, even if it sometimes felt difficult along this journey. And so that's where I've been, just trusting what I've received as far as the messages that I relay here, the messages that I channel. And it's been difficult for me to trust that, difficult for me to believe that, especially when it comes to union, especially when it comes to the divine masculine, especially when it comes to the contrast that you seem to see in the physical 3D reality. But that's where you surrender to trusting yourself and trusting your heart. And it has all led you here. So if you are not here yet, where your heart is fully opened and where you're able to trust, then keep going. Because it's on the other side. There are breakthroughs and breakthroughs and breakthroughs that are coming, that are already here for you. And if you are here where you're feeling so much emotion and so much love and it's overwhelming you and it's scaring you, allow it to scare you. Don't let that fear hold you back from love. Allow it to scare you into movement. Allow it to scare you to such a point where you say, I'm just going to open my heart and let myself love, because that is who I've learned I am now. And I am just going to shine brighter and brighter and brighter. And I am just going to let that love expand. Let that fear move you forward. Let that overwhelm be an overwhelm of love. And let yourself express that love, because that is what we are here for. Not ever to hold love back, but always to just express it in the full force of who you are. That is what changes the world. By loving fully and deeply and not holding ourselves back. Okay, I want to do a little bit of a reading here. When I get in this energy, I should just do a sacred channeling, but I'm going to do a little bit of a reading, and I might cross-post some of this onto my other channel. All right, you guys, let's see what's going on for the divine masculine, shall we? Harmonize. Let your light shine. God, I feel this masculine energy with me as I'm speaking. Divine creativity, receiving cosmic intelligence. They are just opening and transforming. There are massive endings that are occurring here. 9, 9, 10, 10. You both are mirroring each other in this energy of conclusions, this energy of completions, but in very different ways. It's two sides of the same coin. You both are going through an expansion, but in very different ways and from very different aspects from very different approaches. And that's why the journey can feel so confusing to us, especially as divine feminines. But it's because we see it from a very conscious standpoint, with that higher wisdom and that higher perspective of the fullness, the full scope of the journey. Divine masculines see it from a very grounded physical presence. They have that inner wisdom as well. They have that inner understanding, but they don't see it from the full scope, or they haven't up until now seen it from the full scope of the journey. That has been a curse and a blessing for the divine feminines, and what has made the journey feel so lonely, especially when it comes to her counterpart. Because she's like, why can't you just see it? Why can't you just understand it the way that I do? But the divine masculine is not meant to. The divine masculine is meant to trust the divine feminine in what she is receiving, and how she is able to see the higher perspective and the full scope, and to ground that energy. The divine masculine doesn't have to see it the way the divine feminine does. He just has to trust her guidance and then ground that into the physical with action, with leadership, to serve as that container so that the divine feminine can flourish in her energy of that divine wisdom and that full expression of herself. And that's where the divine masculine then has everything, because from that place the divine feminine is able to give and the divine masculine is able to receive, and vice versa, in that beautiful harmonization, that beautiful give and take. But first, the divine feminine must be able to receive the presence of the divine masculine. And if the divine masculine is in their distortion, if they are not providing that safe container for the feminine, then she will close up. Then she will put up her guard. And so what's happening here is the divine masculine is going through a closing out of a cycle where they were in darkness, where they were in the darkness of the light that they hold within themselves, the awareness of themselves. That's where their darkness was, where they were unaware of themselves. And so they couldn't hold themselves responsible. They couldn't hold themselves accountable. They couldn't take leadership for their lives. They were disconnected from themselves. And a lot of that was because they were disconnected from feminine energy, not just their physical divine feminine, but the feminine energy as a whole. And the more that they welcome in and connect to that feminine energy, the more they connect to you, their counterpart, divine feminine. And they recognize that harmony. They recognize the magnificence and the magnitude of the creative energy that is available to them from connecting. And when I mean connecting, I mean that union. Inner union first, and then experiencing that in the partnership. So they're beginning to understand this. They are beginning to really just opening up and express themselves and transform the energy within themselves from distorted to divine. More than that, they are beginning to integrate this and anchor this in. This is a massive cosmic shift that we're experiencing with the divine masculine. Again, I want to encourage you guys, look, unification. I'm not going to take this because I'm still talking, but unification, that's what's happening here. I do want to encourage you guys once again to check out the Cosmic Kiss or the Twin Flame Channeling. Really, really pivotal stuff. Okay, Divine Feminine. What's going on with the Divine Feminine? Sacred sexuality. This is creative life force energy. Divine creativity, sacred sexuality, accessing the unified field, accessing that unity energy. That is creation energy. Sexuality is not what we know it to be. Sexuality is alchemy. It's transmutation. It's creation. We have spoken about that and channeled that over the last several months especially. That sacred sexuality, especially in union energy, is creation, not just creation of the physical life, but of life force energy. Life force energy, what the universe is made of. She is recognizing her power, not from a place of Well, I'm hearing from a place of humility, so not from a place of ego, but from a place where she had once been disempowered, where she had once been suppressed, where she had once been oppressed. She is now rising in her self-empowerment, in her sacredness, and honoring herself, and realizing that her sexuality is not anything to be ashamed of. It is part of creation. And sexuality is not just the act of sex, it is energy. It is the essence that you exude. It is the expansive nature of who you are. Interesting that we have the 9s here and the 9s here as well. What's going on for the Divine Feminine? What's going on for the Divine Feminine? Let's get one more card. Twin Flame Facilitator, expansive growth. And reprogram your soul, release, raise, reclaim. Look at that beautiful heart image as well. This Twin Flame Facilitator, like I said in that Twin Flame channeling, we're kind of reclaiming the title of Twin Flame. I don't mean that as far as a label, but the Twin Flame concept has been so romanticized and misconstrued. It is for the purpose of expansion. It is for the purpose of soul growth. And like I shared in my experience, I don't know what that means as far as life experience, as far as a human experience. A lot of people have their own thoughts and theories. I am going to remain humble and say, you know what? I don't know. I don't know what that means. I know it means union between Divine Masculine and Divine Feminine. It's what we've channeled. I know that means union within ourselves, and I know that that means union with a counterpart in the physical experience. But what does that union actually look like? I think it's going to look a little bit different for everybody. And when I say that, I'm not denying anybody's desires. Just saying, I think it's going to look just a little bit different for everybody based on what your soul chooses and what your path looks like. For me, I really do believe that my person is my person, like I said before, but is that now? Is that later? How is that going to unfold? I have no idea. I have no idea. And that's where I remain humbled and surrendered. But I do believe that he and I are twin flames, and I do believe that he and I are sacred partners. I do believe that we have been on the ascension journey together in the energy of love. And I do believe that it has facilitated so much healing and so much expansiveness and so much growth, and I believe it will continue to. When we're saying reprogram your soul, this is you reclaiming yourself in your full empowerment, in your full embodiment. This is you as Divine Feminine, where you have released the old versions of yourself, where you have raised your frequency to the higher heart energy, where you have reclaimed any lost or forgotten fragments of yourself, where you are now expressing yourself in that full capacity with that open heart, with that expansive nature. And you're continuing to expand. And what I'm actually getting is interesting energy as you are reclaiming the energy of sacred union, divine partnership, twin flame, whatever you want to call it. As you're reclaiming that for yourself, anchoring into the knowing, while balancing out that full surrender. Everything that I had channeled in the beginning of the reading, they're saying, this is part of your expansion as well. This is part of your union. Don't really understand what that means quite yet. But I feel like the more you're able to claim yourself and the knowing and the love that you have within yourself, the more you're allowing yourself to continue to expand. We're gonna reveal more of that later. We're gonna try to understand more of that later, I should say. I just kind of want to check in on the Divine Masculines and see where they are now. I really feel like that initial channeling in the beginning was the message, but I just want to do a little bit of a reading here. Where's the Divine Masculine right now when it comes to this connection? Interesting. So a couple cards flipped over, but not in, they didn't come out in the deck. So we have the High Priestess, we have the Four of Cups. Wow. Okay. And one more card, please. Where's the Divine Masculine? This Divine Masculine is feeling the connection to their Divine Feminine, represented here by the High Priestess. They are learning how to really recognize and embrace the feminine energy, and as such, they're really feeling connected to, and I'm getting like this heart pull. They're getting really pulled from in a loving energy to their Divine Feminine, and it's like they're not denying it anymore. They're not trying to run away from it. Where they had once missed this connection, where they had once missed this opportunity, it's like now they're wanting to drink from that cup of love that has always been offered to them. And I feel like these are the new seeds that are being planted. New seeds that are being planted. Really interesting. New seeds that are being planted. And I feel like they want to harvest them. Like I feel like they want to nurture them. I feel like they want to put in the effort and grow those new seeds. And what are those new seeds? Those new seeds are reciprocity. Those new seeds are balance and partnership. Those new seeds are expressing love to the feminine and honoring the feminine. Those new seeds are anywhere where they had mistreated the connection, or where they had mistreated their Divine Feminine, or where they had denied the connection or avoided the connection, avoided or run from their own hearts. They're now wanting to put in the effort because they're seeing what this connection, what this love has truly meant to them. Oh my gosh, there's this beautiful, overwhelming feeling of love that is just pouring out. They're really seeing the magic of the Divine Feminine, the magic that has really been brought to their lives, even amongst a lot of destruction. That destruction was just, and it's Kalima energy is what I'm getting. That destruction brought about creation. But they were so much in their heads that all they could see was destruction. They couldn't see the creation that the Divine Feminine was bringing to. And so a lot of them projected the blame onto the Divine Feminine, saying, you brought about destruction into my life. You changed this. You changed that. But they're not seeing that that's part of the magic of the Divine Feminine energy, where, yes, she might facilitate that change, but it's for that higher purpose. It's for the creation energy. It's to raise the masculine from the depths of the lower energy where they were stuck, not even realizing that where they were stuck, to raise them into higher frequency. And when I say higher frequency, that translates or reflects in their physical world. So maybe they were stuck in dead-end jobs. Maybe they were stuck in old relationships that didn't feel good, that were toxic or that were harmful to them, or that just felt like soul-sucking to them. Maybe they were stuck in family dynamics that were, or cultures or religions that were limiting. And so the Divine Feminine comes in and she turns everything upside down, and the Divine Masculine is not ready for that. Divine Masculine, number one, is feeling the full force because she's doing this in an energy of love. She's doing this in such a beautiful energy of love. But the energy of the triggers and the revealing of pain patterns, the revealing of the shadows, is what turns everything upside down. Divine Feminines, you've experienced this as well in your own journey with your own activation, but for the Divine Masculines specifically, they ran from this or avoided this because it was easier to stay in the comfort of what they knew, even if it was painful. Even if it wasn't a version of themselves that they didn't particularly like. That was a lot of their self-worth issues. And so the Divine Feminine comes in and is basically knocking that tower down because that was a poor foundation upon which the Divine Masculine had built themselves up. And so the Divine Feminine is saying, we're building this foundation on love now. And so Divine Masculines had previously just focused on the destruction, and now they're seeing the creation. Now they're seeing the healing. Now they're seeing the bigger picture. They're getting the greater scope. They're understanding the greater scope. They're understanding, oh, this is what the journey is and what it has always been. They had just been focused on a specific piece of it, which had been destruction, and now they're seeing the creation. Now they're seeing where it's leading. Now they're seeing, I can have success, and not success as in like, just money or tangible things or material goods. I can feel good about myself. I can feel successful. I can feel like I'm thriving rather than just surviving. I can feel expansive instead of feeling limited and small. And most importantly, I can feel happy and loved. And I can love the way I have always wanted to love another without feeling fear, without feeling like I'm going to be abandoned, without feeling like I'm going to be rejected, or whatever it is that their core wound is. This is the divine masculine opening their heart and saying, I can love too, as much as I'm allowing myself to be loved. New seeds being planted. Let's get some energy for the divine feminines, please. 4 of Wands. Oh my God, you guys. I can't with this energy. I just want to cry. Like all evening I've been wanting to cry, which is why I'm doing this reading. But it's beautiful energy. It's like, it's so loving and so sweet. I can't, you guys. I fucking can't. Okay. 4 of Wands, the 9 of Cups, and the World. Divine feminines, you have done this on your own. You've had to reach personal fulfillment beyond satisfaction, happiness on your own. And now you are able to realize that that cycle of independence, I'm going to call it independence or individuality, has to come to a completion. Because you were meant to recognize that you've always had the power within yourself. You have always had the power within yourself, and you were never truly alone. You were always supported in one form or another, whether from your spirit team and God source, from your counterpart in the energy or even physical proximity, from friends and soul sisters and brothers. God source moving through all these things. You have never been alone, but you were meant to kind of walk this individual path for yourself, rather than in partnership. I'm to this level because you needed to release codependencies, because you needed to release attachments, because you needed to release the need for another outside of yourself to validate you, to recognize that you have everything inside of yourself. And from that, you have recognized wholeness within yourself. You have recognized union. You've realized success. And so that cycle has come to a completion, and what's coming in is, it's just like beautiful partnership with another. Celebration with another. This 4 of Wands is giving me that 11-11 twin flame energy. You guys on this channel know that I don't usually get that, or I haven't gotten that for a while, but I read the cards based on the energy. There's a new cycle that's beginning here. But it's because you, divine feminines, had to allow an old cycle to come first to an end. What I want to do is just get union energies. Union energies, please. Knight of Swords. The Moon. One more. And the Star. You are meant to be in your beautiful, loving capacity. This Queen of Cups is the embodiment of love. There is movement, there is expression, there is communication that is happening here. And when I say communication, I just mean expression. Part of that creativity, that life force energy, there is movement in your journey. And part of that movement is embodiment. Part of that movement is expression of self. And part of that expression of self will be expression of love. That can be coming from you, that could be coming from your divine counterpart, that could be towards each other. We're not meant to know with this moon here. There are things that are still unfolding. We're not meant to know. We are meant to surrender. But we're not meant to fear. We're meant to trust our intuition, trust in the divine unfolding, trust that everything is coming to fruition, that your wishes are here, being fulfilled, coming true. All right, you guys, that is going to be it for tonight. I am sending you so much love, so much light. Let me know how this is resonating. Leave me a comment in the comment box. Hit that like button. Make sure you check out the Sacred Channeling, the Cosmic Kiss for more on this energy. And stay tuned to my Instagram, Facebook, and the community tab here for more updates. I'm sending you guys so much love. Take care.